This April, Count Dracula will be back to spook up the big screen again, in the movie, Renfield. The film isn't quite the horror that Bram Stoker imagined in his 1897 novel, but it's a new spin on a timeless story.
Sorry to interrupt.
Are you okay? I need to get out of a toxic relationship.
The scary yet hilarious film follows the story of Renfield, played by Nicholas Hoult, as he grows tired of working for his demanding boss, Dracula, played by Nicolas Cage, and tries to escape from his clutches. Renfield is a Universal Pictures production directed by Chris McKay, and the script has been written by Ryan Ridley of Rick and Morty fame.
Hi, are you here for the meeting? Well, come on.
No! No!
I am Dracula.
Okay, obviously we're dealing with a little bit more than just narcissism here.
12 facts you probably didn't know about the Renfield movie. 1. Renfield is the second time Nicolas Cage plays a vampire. He already had experience playing a vampire in Vampire's Kiss, a 1988 American black comedy horror film directed by Robert Bierman and written by Joseph Minion. 2. Nicolas Cage studied several classic portrayals of vampires in preparation for his own interpretation in this film. Cage revealed that he studied Max Schreck's classic performance as the vampire Count Orlik in 1922's Nosferatu. Cage took special note of Schreck's gestures and quirks in the film and considered the different ways of incorporating them into his own portrayal. He was also influenced by Andy Warhol's Dracula. One of the most famous and spectacular Dracula films is Francis Ford Coppola's Oscar-winning 1992 film, Bram Stoker's Dracula, which starred Gary Oldman as the main character. Gary Oldman is Cage's uncle. In an interview with Variety, he revealed how he watched previous portrayals of the character in preparation for his own interpretation in Renfield. He was particularly struck by Gary Oldman's performance and studied his uncle's adaptation of Dracula. 3. Renfield is the second time Nicholas Hoult and Nicolas Cage have worked together. Nicholas Hoult is an established actor who has made a name for himself in films such as the X-Men franchise, Tolkien, Mad Max, Fury Road, and The Menu. This isn't the first time the actors have shared the screen together. They both worked on a film together 18 years ago. Nicholas Hoult played the role of Cage's son in The Weatherman. Hoult said that working with Cage on Renfield was special because he felt the actor is as iconic as the character he portrays in the film, and he enjoyed watching his process in real time. 4. Chris McKay wasn't the original choice to direct the film. English filmmaker Dexter Fletcher was first selected to direct Renfield. Prior to Renfield, Fletcher directed Rocketman and Eddie the Eagle. He also stepped in to wrap up production of Bohemian Rhapsody. In the end, the director decided to pursue the opportunity to direct The Saint, reboot and drop out of Renfield altogether. According to Deadline, McKay entered negotiations for the vampire film as director and producer in April 2021 before ultimately signing on. Director Chris McKay has shown his versatility as a filmmaker, from the animated Robot Chicken and the Lego Batman movie to the sci-fi film The Tomorrow War. Having McKay helm the horror-tinged action comedy, Renfield feels like both a natural progression and an opportunity for him to showcase his skills in a different genre. 5. The film crew's cars were broken into in the parking lot. During the production of Renfield, multiple crew members were victims of burglary during a night shoot on February 8, 2022, in spite of heavy security. According to the news report, the crew members had their vehicles stationed at a New Orleans parking lot that was reserved for them while filming. 6. How the failure of the Dark Universe helped Renfield. The Dark Universe was a planned series of monster films that were being developed and distributed by Universal Pictures. The Dark Universe was meant to serve as rebooted versions of past monster films that take place in a shared universe. Plans for the shared universe were shelved following the failure of the first film in 2017, The Mummy, starring Tom Cruise and Sofia Boutella. So, Universal Pictures took a step back and reconsidered its approach. The studio decided to focus less on a shared universe model and more on a filmmaker-driven approach to these legendary characters. As a result, it invited creators to pitch their visions and stories, hence where the initial idea for Renfield was born. 7. Robert Kirkman first pitched Renfield to Universal Pictures in 2019. Robert Kirkman is the co-creator of one of the most successful modern zombie comics, The Walking Dead, and the executive producer of the popular television show adaptation. Kirkman and his production company Skybound Entertainment have worked on projects such as the comic books, Haunt, Outcast, and Marvel Zombies. When Universal Pictures sought out creative ideas for potential Universal monster films, Kirkman pitched Renfield to the studio execs in 2019. 8. Nicolas Cage was extremely committed to the role. Cage shows extreme commitment to his roles and will do what's absolutely necessary. The actor admitted that he painted his face as a voodoo icon to truly feel what it was like to be a ghost or spirit for the 2011 Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance. Cage often showed up highly prepared to the set of Renfield, before the production had even started, as his co-star Nicholas Hoult detailed on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Hoult explained how Cage raises the standards of everyone else in a film. He recalled how the two met in the director's office weeks before filming started, and Cage already knew all of his lines and how to interpret scenes. Hoult found Cage's levels of preparation and dedication to the craft truly remarkable. 9. The director thinks Renfield is similar to Evil Dead 2. McKay noted that the film is tonally similar to Sam Raimi's Evil Dead 2, released in 1987. It was a controversial film and was never submitted to the ratings board due to the fear it would have received an X rating. Despite the comedic element present in the story, it was bloody and gory in an over-the-top manner that made executives uneasy about how it would be received. The ratings controversy aside, Evil Dead 2 catapulted the franchise to the next level and was well received by critics and fans. 10. Nicolas Cage says Nicholas Hoult is the true star of the movie. Many headlines for Renfield label it as Nicolas Cage's Dracula movie. It's understandable, considering the actor's superstar status in the film industry and the number of eyeballs his name attracts. However, the movie is titled Renfield, which is a dead giveaway of who the real lead is here. Cage believes his co-star is the one who deserves the hype and attention. He also remembered the way in which Hoult supported Cage in the film, The Weatherman, and that Cage wanted to support Hoult in a similar way. Cage also hopes to star in more films with Hoult. 11. Ben Schwartz was in awe of Nicolas Cage on set. Actor Ben Schwartz is the voice of Leonardo in Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and also voiced Sonic in Sonic the Hedgehog. He plays the character of Eddie Lobo in Renfield. Schwartz discussed his experience of working with Cage on the playlist and gushed about how positive it all was. He was awed by Cage's commitment and dedication to the work. For Schwartz, working with Cage was an absolute dream come true. 12. Chris McKay reveals the real theme of Renfield. On the surface, Renfield appears to be a covert commentary about toxic workplaces. It paints Dracula as a terrible boss and subtly advises the audience to seek new opportunities if they, too, are working in horrible environments with monsters. However, Chris McKay explained to the playlist that there's a bigger theme at play in the film, and that's the issue of codependency. In the original Dracula by Bram Stoker, Renfield does his master's bidding as he believes Dracula will grant him immortality. While the Count does give Renfield some power, he never fully turns him as promised. Ultimately, Renfield has a crisis of conscience and defies his master, which becomes his doom as Dracula snaps his neck. There's an element of codependency in the novel, which also filters its way into Renfield. Thanks for watching.